Captain Jake Morrison stood in the cold metal hallway of Nexus Prime Station, staring through the massive viewing window at the stars beyond. His reflection looked tired in the glass. After 3 days of Galaxy Council meetings, he felt every one of his 42 years weighing on his shoulders. The council chamber doors hissed open behind him, and Ambassador Lisa Parker walked out. Her face was red with anger, and her hands were clenched into fists. She had been Earth's voice in the EU Council for 8 years, but today she looked ready to quit. "They voted against us again," she said, her voice shaking. "All 3 star systems. The ones our people found. The ones our ships explored. They're giving them to the Zephyrians." Jake turned away from the window. The Zephyrians were tall beings, made of living crystal who had been part of the Galaxy Council for over 2,000 years. They treated humans like children who needed constant watching. Today, they had convinced the other council members that humans were too young and dangerous to control 3 new star systems. What was their reason this time? Jake asked, though he already knew it would be something stupid. "They said humans expand too fast and might upset the balance of power," Lisa said. She sat down heavily on a metal bench. Counselor Zethka said, "We need to learn patience before we can be trusted with new worlds." Jake felt his anger building. Humans had been part of the Galaxy Council for almost 200 years. They had fought in 3 major wars to protect Council worlds. Human scientists had invented new medical treatments that saved millions of alien lives. Human engineers had built better spaceships and faster communication systems. But the older species still treated them like dangerous children. "There's more," Lisa continued. "They're putting our colonies under Zephyrian protection. Starting next month, every human world will have Zephyrian overseers watching everything we do." Jake's anger turned cold. He opened his communication device and sent a secure message to Admiral Ben Carter back on Earth. Within minutes, the Admiral's face appeared on the small screen. Ben Carter was a tough man, with gray hair and scars from the border wars 20 years ago. "Jake, you look like someone stole your lunch money," Ben said. "What did those crystal heads do now?" "They took the 3 systems, Ben. All of them. And they're putting watchers on our colonies." Ben's face went hard. "Watchers? Zephyrian overseers? To make sure we don't cause trouble?" Ben was quiet for a long moment. Behind him, Jake could see the busy command center of Earth's Stellar Defense Force. "Jake, I've been watching the intelligence reports. This isn't just about those 3 systems. The Council species are scared of us." "Scared? Why would they be scared?" "Because we're getting too good at this space thing," Ben said. "Our ships are faster than theirs now. Our weapons are better. Our people are braver in fights. They know that in another 50 years they won't be able to push us around anymore." Lisa leaned closer to the screen. "Ben, what are you saying?" "I'm saying they're trying to put chains on us while they still can," Ben replied. "Dr. Rachel Kim has been studying their behavior patterns. She thinks they're planning something bigger." Dr. Rachel Kim was Earth's best expert on alien cultures. If she was worried, then things were worse than Jake thought. "What kind of something bigger?" Jake asked. "We don't know yet, but Rachel thinks they might try to limit our technology sharing or put restrictions on our military. They want to keep us weak." Jake looked around the empty hallway. Nexus Prime was supposed to be a symbol of cooperation between all the species in the galaxy. But right now, it felt like a prison. "Ben, what? If we just said no?" "No to what?" "No to all of it. No to the Watchers. No to giving up the systems our people found. No to being treated like children who can't take care of themselves." Ben's eyes got very serious. "Jake, that would mean leaving the Galaxy Council completely." "Maybe that's exactly what we should do." Lisa grabbed Jake's arm. "Jake, you can't. Be serious. If we leave the Council, we'll be alone against the entire galaxy." "Will we?" Jake asked. "Or will we finally be free to show what humans can really do?" Ben nodded slowly on the screen. "Jake, I've been thinking the same thing for months. We've been trying to play by their rules for 200 years, and where has it gotten us? We're still the species they push around whenever they feel like it." "But the trade agreements," Lisa said. "The defense treaties, the technology sharing programs. What technology sharing? Jake asked. We give them our inventions, and they tell us their secrets are too dangerous for young species to know. We protect their worlds in wars, and they vote to limit our expansion. We build the best spaceships in the galaxy, and they tell us we can't use them where we want. Ben leaned forward on the screen. Jake, if you're really thinking about this, you need to know something. We're not as helpless as they think we are. What do you mean? I mean, Earth has been preparing for this possibility for a long time. We have contingency plans, we have hidden resources. We have technologies that the Council doesn't know about. If we decide to go our own way, we won't be defenseless. Jake felt something change inside him. For 200 years, humans had tried to be good members of the Galaxy Council. They had followed the rules, even when the rules were unfair. They had accepted insults and restrictions because they wanted to be part of the galactic community. But maybe it was time to stop wanting what others wouldn't give them. Lisa, go back to the council chamber, Jake said. Tell them I want to make one final statement to the full council. Jake, what are you going to do? I'm going to give them exactly what they've been asking for all these years. Which is what? Jake looked out the window at the stars again. Somewhere out there were human colonies full of people who deserved better than to live under alien overseers. Somewhere out there were star systems that human explorers had found and mapped, now being given away to species that had never left their home regions until humans showed them how. I'm going to give them a galaxy without humans in it, he said. Let's see how well they do on their own. Ben smiled grimly on the screen. Jake, if you do this, there's no going back. Good, Jake said. I'm tired of going backward anyway. Commander Nick Sullivan was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency alert came through. His communication device buzzed with the highest priority signal he had ever seen. The message was short and simple, but it changed everything. Earth has withdrawn from the Galaxy Council. All human colonies are now independent. Prepare for hostile response from Council species. Nick set down his coffee cup and looked out the window of his office on Kepler 442b. The human colony of New Hope stretched across the valley below him. 20,000 people lived here, most of them families who had come to build a new life among the stars. They had been here for 15 years, growing food and mining rare metals that Earth needed. His assistant, Lieutenant Tom Brady, ran into the office. Commander, we're getting reports from all over the galaxy. The Council species are going crazy. What do you mean crazy? They're canceling every trade agreement with human colonies. The Zephyrians are demanding access to all our facilities for immediate inspection. Some colonies are being cut off from the galactic communication network completely. Nick opened his computer and began reading the incoming reports. The news was bad and getting worse by the hour. On the mining world of New Denver, Governor Amy Chen was reporting that Korthak ships had surrounded the planet and were demanding surrender. The research station on Europa 7 had gone silent after Altarian forces took control of their communication arrays. Tom, get me a secure line to Admiral Carter on Earth. While Tom worked to establish the connection, Nick's mind raced. New Hope was in a dangerous position. They were far from Earth, with only a small defense force of 12 ships. If the Council species decided to make an example of them, they would be in serious trouble. Admiral Carter's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, Nick could see the chaos of Earth's military command center. Officers were running back and forth, and multiple screens showed star maps with red warning indicators. Nick, good to see you're still breathing, Carter said. What's your situation? We're still free, but that might not last long. What the hell happened at the council meeting? Jake Morrison told them exactly what humanity thinks of their treatment. The look on their faces was worth 200 years of insults. But now we're paying the price. How bad is it? Carter's expression grew grim. Bad. The Council declared us a threat to galactic stability. They've authorized what they call corrective action against any human colony that refuses to submit to their authority. Nick felt cold. Corrective action means military action. That's right. But Nick, I need you to know something. We didn't make this decision lightly. Earth has been preparing for this possibility for a long time. What kind of preparations? The kind that will keep you alive, Check your colony's military storage area. Authorization code 77 Alpha. Nick typed the code into his computer. Files began appearing on his screen that he had never seen before. Weapon specifications, defensive system blueprints, and tactical manuals that were far more advanced than anything he knew Earth possessed. Carter, what is all this? Insurance. For the last 50 years, Earth's best scientists and engineers have been developing technology that we never shared with the Council. We knew this day might come. Tom suddenly looked up from his communication station. Commander, we have Zephyrian ships approaching the system. 3 heavy cruisers and 6 escort vessels. Nick's heart sank. 9 ships against his 12 defenders. But as he looked at the files Carter had unlocked, he began to see possibilities. Carter, these defensive systems in the files, do we actually have them? Check Storage Bay 7. Everything you need should be there. Nick sent Tom to check the storage bay while he continued reading. The technology was incredible. Adaptive shields that learned from each attack. Weapons that could predict enemy movements. Most importantly, tactical programs that could coordinate complex battles without human input. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Pete Davis was coordinating the largest military mobilization in human history. In secret facilities around the world, ships that had been disguised as cargo vessels were revealing their true nature as advanced warships. Weapon systems that had been tested in hidden bases were being deployed to human colonies across the galaxy. Sir, one of his officers reported, we're getting word that the galactic economy is starting to collapse. What do you mean? Human shipping companies handle 40% of all galactic trade. When our ship stopped operating, trade routes all over the galaxy began shutting down. The Korthak Collective is reporting massive supply shortages. Davis smiled grimly. Good. Maybe they'll think twice before trying to control us. Back on New Hope, Tom returned with amazing news. Commander, that storage bay was full of equipment I've never seen before. Defense satellites, shield generators, and weapons that look like they're from the future. How long to get them operational? The installation programs are already running. Everything is automated. We'll have full defensive coverage in 6 hours. Nick looked at the approaching Zephyrian ships on his screen. We might not have 6 hours. But then something unexpected happened. His communication system received a message from the Zephyrian fleet commander. The crystal being's translated voice was full of the usual arrogance. Human colony, you will surrender immediately and submit to council authority. Resistance will be met with overwhelming force. Nick thought about all the years of being treated like a child by species who thought they were superior. He thought about the families in his colony who deserved to live free. He thought about the advanced weapons now being installed around his world. This is Commander Sullivan of the Free Human Colony New Hope, he replied. We reject council authority. If you want this world, come and take it. The Zephyrian commander seemed shocked by the response. You dare defy the Galaxy Council? Your pathetic defenses cannot stand against our superior technology. We'll see about that, Nick said, and cut the communication. 6 hours later, the Zephyrian fleet attacked. Their energy weapons struck the colony's shields with devastating force, expecting to break through immediately. Instead, the adaptive shields absorbed the energy and grew stronger. Their targeting computers tried to lock onto the defensive satellites, but the satellites moved in patterns no artificial intelligence could predict. The battle lasted only 20 minutes. When it was over, 3 Zephyrian ships were destroyed, and the remaining 6 were trapped by weapons they had never encountered before. The crystal beings who had treated humans like children for 2 centuries found themselves completely helpless against human innovation. Nick opened a communication channel to the captured fleet. This is Commander Sullivan. Your ships are disabled, but your crews are alive. You will be treated according to the rules of war, which is more courtesy than the Council has ever shown humanity. The news of the victory at New Hope spread across the galaxy within hours. For the first time in galactic history, Council forces had been defeated by humans using technology the older species had never seen before. On Earth, Admiral Carter received the report with satisfaction. Well, he said to General Davis, I think The galaxy is starting to understand that humanity is not as helpless as they thought. 3 months after Earth's withdrawal from the Galaxy Council, Captain Steve Johnson was running for his life. His ship, the Defiant Spirit, dodged through an asteroid field while 4 Korthak vessels fired at him from behind. But Steve wasn't scared. He was having the time of his life. "Tony, how are those new shields holding up?" he called to his engineer. Dr. Tony Martinez grinned from his position at the engineering station. "The adaptive systems are learning their attack patterns. Each shot they fire makes us stronger against the next one." Steve laughed as he spun his ship around a massive asteroid and fired back at his pursuers. The Defiant Spirit's weapons were unlike anything the Korthak had ever faced. Instead of simple energy beams, they fired smart projectiles that could change direction and adapt to enemy defenses. 2 of the Korthak ships exploded. The other 2 quickly retreated. Another successful escort mission, Steve announced to his crew. "The civilian ships are safely away." For 3 months, Steve had been playing cat and mouse with Council fleets across the galaxy. His job was to protect human civilian ships that were trying to reach safe territory. The Council species had declared all human vessels to be pirates, but Steve's tactics made their fleets look like amateurs. Meanwhile, on the crystal world of Zephyros Prime, Counselor Zeth Ka was having the worst day of his very long life. The being of living crystal stood before a massive holographic display showing the galactic economy in complete collapse. "How did this happen?" he asked his advisors. "The humans, Counselor. When they withdrew, they took their shipping companies with them. 40% of all galactic trade moved on human vessels. Without them, cargo is piling up on thousands of worlds." Zeth Ka's crystal body flickered with anger. "What about our own ships? Our vessels are designed for short-range transport within our territory. We relied on human long-range capabilities for everything else. Their navigation systems were superior to ours, and their fuel efficiency was remarkable." The counselor turned to another advisor. "What is the status of our administrative networks?" "Failing, sir. The quantum computers that run our government systems were designed by human engineers. Without their maintenance and updates, our entire bureaucracy is grinding to a halt." On the hive world of Korthak Central, the situation was even worse. The collective's vast network of ships was stranded across the galaxy because human-maintained jump gates had gone offline. Billions of Korthak drones found themselves cut off from the central hive mind. But the most shocking discovery came from the analysis of the captured ships from the New Hope battle. Council scientists had spent weeks studying the human technology, and what they found terrified them. The human defensive systems were not just advanced, they were revolutionary. The adaptive shielding could learn from any attack and become immune to it. The weapons systems showed creativity and unpredictability that no artificial intelligence could match. Most disturbing of all, the technology was clearly much older than anyone had realized. "How long have they been hiding this from us?" demanded Admiral Vexton of the Altarian Republic. His science officer, a nervous creature with 6 arms, shuffled through data reports. "Based on the technology signatures, sir, we estimate they have been developing these systems for at least 50 years. 50 years? While they were pretending to be our junior partners?" "It appears so, sir. They have been far more advanced than they let us believe." The political situation grew worse when 3 smaller species announced their own withdrawal from the Galaxy Council. The Altarian Republic, the Tau Ceti Confederation, and the Procyon Trade Alliance had watched humanity stand up to the Council's bullying and decided to follow their example. "If humans can be independent, so can we," declared Prime Minister Jex Ral of the Altarian Republic. "We are tired of being told what to do by species who think they are better than us." The Council's response was swift and brutal. They sent fleets to force the rebel species back into line. But something unexpected happened. Human ships appeared to defend the smaller species using tactics that made the Council forces look helpless. Colonel Sarah Lee led many of these operations. Her Special Forces teams had been trained in techniques that Council species had never encountered. They could board enemy ships without being detected, disable weapon systems from the inside, and escape before anyone knew they had been there. "The key," Sarah explained to her team before a mission, is that they think in predictable patterns. They have been the dominant powers for so long that they cannot imagine anyone being smarter than them. Her team's most successful operation was the liberation of data cores from a Zephyrian intelligence facility. The information they recovered exposed decades of corruption and abuse by the Council species. The data showed how the major powers had been systematically exploiting smaller civilizations, stealing their resources, and suppressing their technological development. When this information was broadcast across the galaxy through human-controlled networks, it sparked riots and rebellions on dozens of worlds. Species that had been quiet members of the Council for centuries suddenly demanded answers. "Why were we never told about this?" asked the ambassador from the Rigel system during an emergency council session. "According to these documents, you have been taking 70% of our mining output and telling us it was voluntary tribute." Councillor Zethkod tried to maintain control. "These documents are human propaganda. You cannot trust anything they say." "The documents are authenticated with your own security codes," the Rigel ambassador replied. "Every transaction is recorded in your own databases." As the council meeting descended into chaos, intelligence reports were flowing back to Earth about something called Project Homeward. Council spies had discovered that humanity was working on a massive secret project, but they could not determine what it was. Dr. Alex Thompson, the project's chief scientist, smiled as he read the intelligence reports in his hidden laboratory. "They have no idea what we're really capable of," he told his research team. "When they see what we've been building, they're going to realize that controlling humanity was never possible." Admiral Carter received regular updates on the galaxy's deteriorating situation. "Sir," his intelligence officer reported, "food shortages are being reported on over 200 worlds. The transportation networks have completely collapsed. Several species are facing famine." "What about the Council's response?" "They're trying to force other species to take over human shipping routes, but no one has the infrastructure or experience. It will take them decades to rebuild what they lost when we withdrew." Carter looked at the star map, showing human colonies scattered across the galaxy. Each one was now defended by technology the Council had never seen. Each one was a symbol of human independence. "How many more species have requested our protection?" he asked. 17 so far, sir. Small civilizations that are tired of Council oppression. They want to join what they're calling the Human Alliance." Carter nodded. Humanity had never wanted to rule the galaxy. They had just wanted to be free. But now they were discovering that freedom was contagious and other species wanted what humans had earned. The galaxy was changing and the old powers were finally realizing that their time of dominance was ending. President Mary Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the massive space station orbiting Earth. 6 months had passed since humanity withdrew from the Galaxy Council, and today she would reveal the secret that would change everything. Behind her, Admiral Chris Taylor reviewed the final preparations. "The demonstration fleet is in position, Madam President. All systems are ready." Mary nodded and activated the Galactic broadcast system. Her message would reach every inhabited world in the galaxy, whether the Council species wanted to hear it or not. "People of the galaxy," she began, 6 months ago, Earth withdrew from the Galaxy Council because we refused to accept second-class citizenship. Today, I want to show you what humanity has built while the Council tried to control us." She gestured toward the viewing window. In the space beyond, something impossible was happening. Massive structures were materializing out of apparently empty space, ships the size of cities, space habitats that could house millions of people, mobile worlds that could travel between stars. "This is Project Homeward," Mary announced. "For 50 years, Earth has been secretly building a fleet of self-sufficient space habitats. If necessary, every human being in the galaxy can leave their current homes and establish new civilizations in unexplored regions of space." Across the galaxy, beings watched in stunned silence as the human fleet revealed itself. The structures were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. They represented complete independence from everything the galaxy had ever known. On Zephyros Prime, Councillor Zethkaz's crystal body flickered with panic. "How many ships do they have?" His advisor checked the sensor readings with shaking hands. Over 10,000 major vessels, sir, and those are just the ones we can see. Our sensors indicate there may be many more hidden throughout the galaxy. The truth was even more shocking than the counselor realized. Dr. Alex Thompson had perfected technology that allowed entire fleets to exist in folded space, invisible to all known detection methods. Humanity had been building their secret civilization, right under the noses of species who thought they were superior, but President Rodriguez was not finished with her announcements. However, we have decided not to leave. Instead, we offer the galaxy a choice: continue with the old system of oppression and control, or join us in building something better. The demonstration that followed made humanity's point better than any words could. Admiral Taylor's fleet moved to the Kepler station system, where thousands of beings from dozens of species had been enslaved by council-approved corporations. The liberation of Kepler Station became a legend that would be told for centuries. Human ships appeared around the station using stealth technology that made them invisible until they chose to be seen. Instead of destroying the station, they used precision weapons that disabled every defensive system without harming a single living being. Colonel Sarah Lee led the boarding teams that swept through the station in minutes. Her soldiers moved like ghosts, appearing where they were needed and vanishing when their work was done. The slavers found themselves unconscious without ever seeing their attackers. When the slaves were freed, they discovered something remarkable. The humans had brought medical teams to treat the injured, food supplies to feed the hungry, and transportation to take anyone who wanted to leave to freedom. "Why are you helping us?" asked a grateful Altarian who had been enslaved for 20 years. "Because it's the right thing to do," Sarah replied simply. "Every thinking being deserves to be free." The liberation of Kepler Station was broadcast across the galaxy in real time. Billions of beings watched humans risk their lives to free slaves they had never met, expecting nothing in return. The contrast with the council species, who had known about the slavery and done nothing, was impossible to ignore. Dr. Thompson's greatest breakthrough came during this period. His research team had developed consciousness transfer technology that allowed human minds to exist as pure energy when necessary. It meant that humans could never truly be imprisoned or controlled by physical means. "The implications are staggering," Thompson explained to President Rodriguez. "If council forces try to attack our colonies, our people can simply transfer to energy form and relocate to safe bodies elsewhere. We have become effectively impossible to destroy." The final blow to the council's authority came when the economic collapse reached critical levels. Without human shipping, manufacturing, and technical support, dozens of species faced starvation. The proud Zephyrian collective was reduced to begging for food supplies from their former subjects. Desperate, the council sent a delegation to Earth. Counselor Zethka, Admiral Vexton, and representatives from 12 other species came to negotiate Earth's return to the galactic community. President Rodriguez met them in a simple conference room, with only Admiral Taylor and Ambassador Lisa Parker beside her. The contrast was deliberate. The alien delegates arrived with dozens of advisors, ceremonial guards, and displays of wealth. The humans sat quietly at a plain table. "We are prepared to discuss terms for Earth's return to the Galaxy Council," Zethka announced with forced dignity. "There will be no return to the Galaxy Council," Mary replied calmly. "That organization is finished." "Finished? You cannot simply destroy 2,000 years of galactic government." "We're not destroying it. You destroyed it yourselves, through corruption and oppression. We're offering to help build something better." Mary activated a holographic display showing the new galactic government that humans and their allies had been designing. The Galactic Assembly, true democracy with equal representation for all species, binding laws against discrimination and slavery, protection for smaller civilizations, open sharing of technology and resources. Admiral Vexton studied the proposals. "And if we refuse," Admiral Taylor spoke for the first time, "then you'll face the galaxy alone. 27 species have already joined the assembly. More are joining every day. Your old empire is crumbling whether you participate or not." The negotiations took 3 days. In the end, the council species had no choice but to accept the new order. Without human technology and the support of smaller species, they could not maintain their dominance. Captain Jake Morrison, who had started it all with his bold announcement 6 months earlier, was chosen as humanity's first ambassador to the Galactic Assembly. At the opening ceremony, he delivered a speech that would be remembered as the beginning of a new age. 6 months ago, humanity left the Galaxy Council because we refused to be treated as inferiors, he said. Today, we help establish the Galactic Assembly because we believe all species should be treated as equals. He looked out at the delegates from hundreds of species, no longer divided into rulers and subjects, but joined as partners in exploring the infinite possibilities of the universe. We never wanted to rule the galaxy, Jake concluded. We just wanted to be free to explore it as equals. Today that dream becomes reality for every thinking being among the stars. The old galaxy was dead. The new galaxy, built on freedom and equality, was just beginning. And at its heart was the simple, human belief that all beings deserve to reach for the stars together.